right, what's up guys? It is Memorial Day evening. Hope you guys had a great Memorial Day weekend. Got to enjoy it. We had beautiful weather, so hopefully you got to go outside and enjoy your 400-meter runs outside today. So what we've got going on, so for tomorrow, for Tuesday, we have the warm-up. You're gonna do 3 rounds. We're gonna do 5 inchworms, 5 half burpees. We're going to do 10 vertical jumps. We're gonna do 10 good mornings with a light weight, and then we're gonna do a 15-second handstand hold. So your inchworms, again, we're just gonna grab onto the toes here, stretch out the hammies and the low back, walk out, drop those hips, relax, take a deep breath, let it out, and then we're gonna walk back up. Gonna go through 5 reps. When you're done there, we're gonna do 5 half burpees, which is gonna dynamically warm up the hips and the hamstrings. So again, we're just looking for all the way down to the ground, jump the feet close, and then back down for your next rep. You're gonna do that 5 times through. After that, we're gonna do 10 vertical jumps. So again, we're gonna find that hang position, load the arms back, and then follow through as hard as you can, fully extend the hip, jump as high as possible. After that, you're gonna do 10 good mornings with a light weight. So you can feel free to add a backpack, add a barbell, kettlebell, something like that. And all we're looking to do there is really warm up the hip hinging movement. So sending the hamstrings back, sending the hips back, loading the hamstrings, and making sure that we keep that weight firmly rooted in your heels. And then the last thing is a 15-second handstand. And for that, you can do any variation from a pike to a nose to wall, to a freestanding, to you could hold the bear crawl position. Again, any of those options are totally fine. And each round, try and challenge yourself a little bit more. So try and make that movement a little bit harder. For the strength today, we're just gonna work on a relatively lightweight technical exercise in the muscle snatch. So what we're looking to do here, we use these as part of our warm-ups pretty often, but the goal for today is to try and do this movement as cleanly as possible. So we really want to try and... Kaylin is being attacked by a wasp. 1 second.
It's not a wasp, but it is a... Well, yeah, it is a wasp. Oh. You just almost punched the ceiling. Maybe just let him outside.
No, he's inside. He gets to die.
No, Tim.
All right. He went away. And my hands are bleeding. So what we're doing today though, we have a muscle snatch for the workout today. So again, for this movement, we're not necessarily looking to go crazy heavy. We're gonna do 5 sets of 3. And all we're looking to do is prime really good hip extension, work on quick turnover, and work on keeping that bar nice and close to the body.
Open up the door and let him outside.
Okay. Kaylin feels the need to save the animals.
Come on, Mr. B, go outside.
Okay, can we go now?
I mean, I'm videotaping.
So guys,
there's a ghosty in your video.
For the muscle snatches, what we're looking for today.
There's an orb in your video.
What?
There was an orb. Okay. Come on, ghost people.
So what we're looking to do today, guys, for the muscle snatch, these are going to be from the mid shin. So we're going to focus on finding the hip crease position. And then again, the key, so what a muscle snatch is, means that there is just a pull and a press. So it's the kind of snatch that we often tell you, please don't do that. So what it's gonna look like, let me make sure and remind myself, I can do this, right? Yeah, okay.
Wide enough, yes.
So what we're looking to do, so just a quick demo first. Again, muscle means that once I extend my hips, so once I get here, I just keep pulling and press to overhead. So there is no re-dip whatsoever once I hit full extension. So again, this would not be a muscle snatch. That is a weird power snatch. So a couple things that we're looking to focus on here. Number 1, finding the hip crease. So from the mid shin, what I'm looking to do is keep the chest up, press the knees out, and then I want to make sure that that bar touches my hip. Because the easiest way to exert force on an object is to touch it. So if that barbell touches my hip, I'm going to have a lot of power to help drive it up overhead. Once that barbell touches my hip, my job is to engage my arms to help me keep that barbell close as I pull to press overhead. So again, we're looking forward, knees out, chest up, contact with the hip, and then arms, high pulling and pressing to extension to keep that barbell nice and close to the body. So that's going to be your strength work for the day. 5 sets 3. After that, our workout is for time. You're going to do 3 rounds of 15 reps, 2 movements, 2 times 30. So what it's going to look like, you're going to do 3 rounds, 15 deadlifts, 15 pull-ups or rows. When you're done, you're going to immediately do 3 rounds, 15 power snatches, 15 bar-facing burpees. So what this workout would look like in the gym, or if you have access to a decent amount of weight and a bar, the deadlift, I would say RX for this would probably be 225, 155. So again, pretty challenging. You're going to be breaking them up. You're not going to do them unbroken. Again, this is perfect world, assuming, you know, access to equipment. And then for the second workout, so for the power snatches and the bar facing burpees, it should be super light. So we're talking like 95, 65 or less. Because again, we'll have done a lot of pulling by the time you get to that second workout. So we don't want a heavy weight. We want you to be able to move fast and finish this workout with a really high heart rate in a super uncomfortable position. So a couple things to keep in mind here. Again, as far as stimulus goes, it's a whole lot of classic CrossFit. So we got a lot of pulling in the first couplet, and then we've just got a ton of total body heart rate in the second couplet. So what I would recommend, if you don't have access to a barbell and some plates, the easiest way to try and make this deadlift more challenging today would be to put a backpack on and put some weight in it. So again, load it up with some textbooks. Reason being is that as I hinge here, the placement of that backpack is going to make it feel like a lot more weight than it actually is. So it's going to help make that deadlift a lot more challenging. So for instance, if I have a dumbbell or a kettlebell and I add the addition of a backpack, it kind of becomes like a good morning deadlift because of the way I have some weight loaded on my back and I've got some weight loaded in my hands. So for the 15 deadlifts, I could load a heavy backpack, I could have my dumbbell between my feet, and I could do my deadlifts like this. And again, that's going to make it a more intense stimulus on your posterior chain by having both the backpack on in a weird way, kind of weird loading pattern. And then you're going to have your kettlebell or your dumbbell for your deadlifts as well. So I would highly recommend that for the deadlifts for today's workout to make it more challenging. And you can leave that backpack on for your rows. Because again, when I hinge over, that backpack being on is going to make it a lot harder to hold this position when I go through my rows. So again, wearing that backpack for that first couplet today makes that whole workout way more posterior dominant and requires a lot more engagement of your midline and of your hamstrings and of your upper back. So again, highly recommend if you don't have access to a lot of weight, backpack, load it up, make it weird. So you're going to do 3 rounds, 15 deadlifts, 15 pull-ups or rows. And again, that's all total. So if you're doing a kettlebell or a dumbbell, you're going to go 2 hands, 15 reps. If you're doing rows, you're going to go 15 reps total. So again, you don't do that per arm. So you'll do 8 on one side, 7 on the other side. And then the next round, switch arms, or switch which arm gets the majority of the load. And then the last round, you're going to end up with one arm doing 1 more rep than another arm. It is okay. Make sure it's your weak arm. So that's your first workout, so 3 rounds of that. After that, I've got 3 rounds of 15 power snatches and 15 bar-facing or object-facing burpees. So again, if you have a kettlebell or a dumbbell, you're going to do 15 reps total of an alternating dumbbell snatch or kettlebell snatch. Again, 15 total, so 8 and 7, split up on each side. And then you'll do burpees facing the object. So facing the dumbbell, facing the barbell, facing the kettlebell, whatever you're using for the workout. So that's the workout and kind of how the flow, stimulus works, all that stuff. So a couple things to keep in mind. Again, whenever you're deadlifting, this is a hips high, shins vertical movement. So when I go through my deadlift, this is the setup position I'm looking for. Shins are vertical to the ground, so knees are pressed back, hips are nice and high, and my chest and my eyes are basically facing the ground. And then I squeeze my butt to stand up, and when I load, I keep those hips high when I come back down for my next rep. For the pull-ups or the rows, again, we're just looking to hold that back position, so we're engaging that midline, keeping those shoulders tight the entire time. For the power snatches, again, we warmed up with the muscle snatch today. That was part of our strength work. So all those mechanics still apply, so that hip contact, squeeze the butt, big extension, but now I want that little re-dip that we were purposely avoiding during the strength work. And then for your bar facing burpees, again, just a good old normal chest and hips to the ground. Make sure that you are jumping off with 2 feet and you're clearing that object. And you're more than welcome to step over if you're going to scale that. So that's your workout for the day. It's a 15-minute time cap. After that, our accessory work. So you've got 3 sets. You're going to do 15 foot elevated single leg hip thrusts on each side. So what that's going to look like, I'm only going to elevate my foot slightly. I'm just going to put it on a couple inches right here. But if you can imagine, if I were to elevate my foot 4 or 5 inches off the ground, so a good little ways, it would make this movement a lot more challenging at the top of the rep, and that's what we're looking for. But other than that, it's going to be the same hip thrust that we're used to. So my shoulders are going to go leaning back on an object. So again, couch, something like that. I'm going to do single leg, and I'm going to go from here at about 45 degrees to full extension of the hip. And again, if you imagine my foot being higher, it basically means that I'm working from a little bit of a deficit when I get up to the top of that rep, making it a lot more challenging. So 15 on each leg, and then after that, I've got 15 reverse flies, and again, that's going to be just a postural exercise. So wine bottles, 5-pound plates, relatively lightweight. We're just looking to hinge over, find his good morning position, and then control nice and smooth, squeezing the shoulder blades together, keeping the arms nice and straight the whole time. Then when we're done there, your mobility for the day, we have a 3-minute seated straddle. So legs out nice and wide to the side. Just looking to stretch out the groin and the hamstrings. Leaning forward here. When you're done with 3 minutes, we're going to do a 1-minute up dog. So what this is going to be for is to really get some extension for that spine after a lot of loaded flexion today. So all I'm going to do is, again, tuck my toes, and I'm just going to keep my chest nice and proud, press through my hands, and let my hips and my belly button sink down towards the ground. And again, when you do that, you want to feel a little bit of pressure in the low back as you really get into a severe arch, but you never want any pain. So just kind of keep that in mind. So that's your training for Tuesday. Enjoy. Keep enjoying the beautiful weather. It's supposed to be nice for a couple more days. So get your fitness outside in the yard and enjoy. You can always tag us, Forged by Zeus, Palace.Ithaca, CrossFit Queens, and we'll see you guys back tomorrow.